Hello, 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 hello. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Alex. Hi, Linda. Hi, Nana. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Glinda. Hi, Brian. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Matt. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Michael. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Susan. Hi, Brian. Hi, Billy. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Joe. Hi, Linda. Hi, Susie. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Tia. Hi, Fran. Hi, Glinda. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Amy. Hi, Jenny. How you guys doing tonight? Hi, Teresa. Oh boy, it's disaster out there. We're not talking about just in Ukraine, but geez. Can you imagine looking at these gas prices not too many years ago? This is not too many years ago. Gas price at 99 cents and 109 a gallon. I wish we could go back to that. But unfortunately, this is where we're at now. Of course, everybody loves these gas prices in the $6 range, of course. That's always going to help everybody, of course, as you know. Inflation is real. We're at literally the daily percentage or the monthly percentage rate, not the yearly percentage rate. I want to make sure that's very clear. This is the monthly inflation rate we're facing right now. Last year it was an average of 4.7% per month. This year so far, January, was 7.53% inflation. February, 7.91% inflation. That's what we have so far on record as we're facing these rates. People don't understand how bad this is going to be because it's not truly affecting everyone yet equally. We are going to have a horrible, horrible advancement. Harris was an absolute embarrassment today in Poland. Oh, it's not a question. It was going to be. It was going to be a joke from the beginning. Send Harris to do what? Nothing? She didn't solve anything. Yeah, if you got lower gas prices and then the $6 minimum, then you're doing good. You're doing good in the U.S., I guess. For now, of course, because who knows where it's going to end or who knows where it's going to come back and bite us. Of course, watching Zelensky, of course, a new video for him now trying to debunk, of course, Russian propaganda. But we've already seen the DoD reports that we have more stuff in the Department of Defense and the embassy. In a new video, Zelensky tried to debunk Russian propaganda that the whole world knew that Ukraine had not developed chemical, biological, or any weapon of mass destruction. The whole world knew that? Pretty sure I'm part of that world, and nobody clued me in on that factor. Let me see if I can pull up a document real quick here. Get this on the screen. Let's read what this has to say. Oh, wait, this is about the labs in Kharkiv. No way. Donor, Department of Defense, the United States of America. The beneficiary and executive agent, the Ministry of Health of Ukraine? Hold on. No, this can't be right. Contract, yeah, Black and Volk. Subcontractor, Techno Projects, and Monochemical, Construction and Supply Equipments. Okay. They had a permit declared and signed by the chief doctor in Kiev and Oblast region, Dr. Tanya. I can't pronounce the last name, sorry. Back in May 28th of 2012. They were permitted in 2012 to be there, in May. They were permitted for working with pathogens, and they will be obtained after signature from TOS and MU, but of course we don't know how much. We know the total cost for labor for building and, of course, starting this facility was $1.6 million, 1.638 for building the structure, and then actually design and construction and lab equipment and everything else. That included everything into that. But this is an actual permit. I mean, the registration card is, you can go look it up yourself. and for Ukraine is 2225-40, dated 21/05/2012. I'm sorry, but you cannot deny something that is direct evidence. It's like saying, oh, it doesn't exist because I don't want it to. I don't feel that it should. I am sorry. But it definitely does exist. Oh, you guys are all picking on Harris. Poor Harris over here getting picked on. Oh, the number again, hold on, I'll get it for you guys again, is 2225-04. That's the registration card number that the permit was pulled in Ukraine for the project to even get started, before the lab was even built. That was the number that was issued for the registration of this project. And this isn't the only one. There are several of them that were issued. Where's Fauci? He disappeared. He is learning. He has disappeared. Well, these weren't bioweapons labs. I want to make sure I say this directly. They weren't considered bioweapons labs. They were biological research labs. Wink, wink. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. You don't ever use. Yes, there's a lot of covert troop movement in the Europe, and of course, there's a lot of covert troop training going on here in the U.S. Billy, if you live in a small town or a smaller area, I'm sure today you've seen helicopters flying around, military-grade helicopters, practicing search and rescue operations. That's under the guides that they were under today, but more like tactical training within the U.S.'s border. Why? I do not know. I am not going to get into speculation on that. I have a feeling it's something to do with no-fly zone, Ukraine, Russia saying stuff. Those biolabs were incinerated, most of them already, Richard. Russia used incendiary bomb devices to destroy the whole entire building and burn it. Yep. Yeah. It's not just Alaska, though. It's all over the country. All over the country. Chinooks, from Blackhawks to everything you will see out everywhere. I do not know what's going on, but they are training here in the U.S. almost like an insurgent force would train if you were training in Iraq or Afghanistan. Not making any other speculation. I'm just stating their training resembles that training that I've seen already. If I make any speculation, of course, then I'm a doomsday guy pushing for inevitable. No viruses were released yet. Yeah, Russia's calling for an investigation. Russia has documents, a lot of documents that have not been released yet, that they got from the State Departments. They're in Ukraine. A lot of documents that have been released through the back doors. Well, people can't do anything about it. If you're in the page, please hit the like button and please share the stream out. We have 60 people here and only 8 reactions and 5 shares. Facebook likes to shadow ban me anyway, so. Yeah. No fly zone, meaning Russia, we would directly be in war with Russia. Directly at war with Russia if that happens, Billy. No fly zone does not go anywhere after that, but to war. Tragic. What we're witnessing in the world and the inflation, I mean, literally, I cannot stress this enough. That 7.53 last month, just last month we went up that much. This month we're up 7.91%. Those numbers should be scary. Literally, because we haven't seen numbers from that. Even if we go back to 1982, when they're talking about inflation numbers getting right above that. There was 1 month that was 8.3. The rest of the months were well below that. The year ended at an average of 6.16%. And the calculation for inflation back then was way different. Like we talked about when they said 20 years ago, inflation peaked last year. That would beat the 20-year peak of inflation. That was a different chart and a different scale used altogether. 2008's issue. Let's talk about 2008. That was a terrible year. That was a 3.85% inflation. We're double that right now. And in 2008, they used different metrics. Every year, they change the metrics to make inflation look a little bit better. You can't just every year change the way you do math and it say, oh, the math is looking better this year. When the math looks extremely bad and you've changed it so much that there's no way it should look anywhere near as bad as it does. And the math still looks terrible. The numbers still look terrible. I know last year when we were looking at the inflation numbers, and I worked it out for the 20-year period that they were saying, it was actually, when it was 5 point something, it was actually 15%. If you would have used the same calculations that they used 20 years ago. So if I were used those same calculations, I didn't do it today, but I'm guessing it'll be around 21 to 22%. Easy. Inflation, 21 to 22% inflation. That would be the real number if you use the same calculations that they did back in 82. And if you go back, if you're using those same calculations, then you wouldn't even go back to 82. Because we have no numbers even near that in inflation, even amongst the worst years in 82. We would have to go back all the way to 1917, 1918, 1919, 1920. Oh, wait. That was the Great Depression, and they were only at a 17% inflation rate. And if we use the numbers they used to calculate that, we are well above a 17% inflation rate. If we use the same metrics they used to calculate those inflation rates. That should be scary. If you use the same metrics they used back then. I mean, if you use the same math they used back in early 1900s, when we went through the Great Depression, if we use the same metrics they used then, we are above the percentage of them. Yeah. You get less food and you pay more for it. Everything is smaller. If you notice that, even like I buy frozen vegetables, that come in the steamer bags. That's just something I do. I like the fresh steamed vegetables, so I buy them in the steamer bags. I used to get 12-ounce bags. Well, today I ordered my bags from Walmart. They came, and they were 8-ounce bags, but the price was $1.29 instead of $1 a piece like they were. But now I get an 8-ounce bag instead of a 12-ounce bag. So I'm getting 1/3 less product, and I'm paying 30% more for the product. Now, that's just mind-boggling. The Great Depression, the influx of the Great Depression actually happened before that. The inflation rates that happened before the Great Depression was way before that. And then interest rates went into a negative after the stock market crashed. That was a total different issue. When you went to a negative inflation rate of 10% or more, that happens after the damage was done. If you pull up an inflation chart, you can see after any great recession, or even the recession in 2008 that we had, The next year, the average inflation rate was a negative 0.34%. Every time you go back to 1955, a negative 0.28. I mean, you always have recoveries that go into negatives. That's always going to happen. Recoveries, of course, are considered the worst part, but they're always the negative part as well. Yeah, almost a 50% increase on a bag of frozen vegetables. On a bag of frozen vegetables, we're facing this. Clearing this off my phone real quick so I can see if we get any updates on Russia right now. Nope, no updates yet. But things are getting serious. I mean, this isn't just about what's happening in Ukraine. This is what's going to happen to us. Yeah, these companies going to $24 an hour. They got to pass that cost on to the customer. $7 a gallon? Oh boy. I can't imagine trying to even get enough fuel to keep yourself warm for $7 a gallon for a furnace. I can't. I don't see how it would be even viable. And that's the problem, is it's no longer viable. It's no longer viable if you're going to be driving. If it's gas is over $5 a gallon, it's no longer viable. Unless you're making a ridiculous rate, which at that point, food costs go up, cost of goods go up, and then it's still not viable. It's an endless cycle. And we are watching this drastic change in our country, drastic change abroad as a global change is happening, where our government's telling us what we should and shouldn't expect. Just, it's getting bad quick. And it's getting bad quick as we face what we're facing here in America. You guys want to call in and talk about what you're experiencing and what you think we're going to end up with? You guys are welcome to call in here. The number is 954 418 2435. You'll be live on air. Yeah. Oil is dropping in price right now. Oil is dropping in price right now, but reserves from every country has dropped a whole bunch of oil from their reserves in order to make that barrel price go down. It won't keep dropping, Kevin. America dropped 90 million barrels in the U.S. We just sent 30 million barrels to Ukraine and to the EU altogether. The EU is dropping 60 million barrels. We're flooding the market with oil or free oil to drop the price of a barrel altogether. And it's not a permanent fix. It is a Band-Aid fix. It's a Band-Aid fix that will not last long. It has no permanent fix. It doesn't stop anything. Band-Aid fix, it never fixes what's happening. It is a tragic situation. It's tragic for the people that are having to experience it. It's sad. It is just sad. Yep. People are, because gas has become so high, theft is becoming more prevalent. So crime becomes more prevalent. So then we end up with more people in prison. With more people in prison, of course, the costs go up. Taxes have to go up to cover those prisoners. Cost of food is going up, has to go up and then the taxes have to go up to cover the prisoners in prison to cover the cost of food. I mean, it's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle. And we are stuck in it today. United Airlines, of course, with many other airlines, are being forced to let unvaccinated employees return to their jobs this month. After laying off and firing many employees, airline pilots, and everything else, and claiming they didn't fire that many, saying it was only 6 to 19 people. Now, of course, letting them return to their jobs, the thousands of employees that were laid off. House passed the $1 trillion bill to fund the government for another month. $1.5 trillion of added debt to our society for a month of government services. Because the government wants to go and give money, not money that they earned. The government didn't earn this money, but the money they taxed us on. They're going to go and take that money that they taxed us and took from us and go and hand it to another country. Oh, Ukraine needs weapons? Oh, here you go, Ukraine. Oh, you need this? Here you go. But our country, oh, you need a gas holiday? No, we can't do that. We can't do a gas tax holiday. Do a gas tax holiday. Why not? Or cut the gas tax by 50% during this extreme time. Cut the gas tax by 50% during this extreme time. Because this is an extreme time. And people need to understand that. This is not the average run-of-the-mill everyday occurrence. This is an occurrence that doesn't happen often. It's an occurrence that is affecting everyone. And the middle class and the lower class are the most affected by this. It's most affected. And it's sad facing this together as a group and a family here. Yeah, drill. Open up all the wells. If you guys can afford to donate tonight, we're raising money for my brother. My brother has to have retinal reconstructive surgery. He's a type 1 diabetic. Not going to be cheap, but that's what we're raising money for tonight. And any donations are extremely appreciated. Fortunately, he does not have insurance, which is part of life. Canada is dropping mandates and they're giving back trucks they seized. But the United States, right now, the United States said if these truckers decide to violate any rules, they're going to seize the trucks permanently. End of it. Because the United States is so much freer, Fighting words with the government, cut the gas tax. Give a gas tax holiday is not a bad thing. We give buying clothes holiday for schools. I mean, gas tax is a big thing. That's every single thing people are having to deal with. People are having to deal with real life issues, and real life issues are gas taxes, or paying for gas, or buying necessities. Yeah, feral pigs are always good. Some wild bacon. But it's sad. Yeah, definitely, Amber. American first. So you don't get in trouble. Get rid of that comment. But if you guys can't donate, I understand. But share that out. It's an important cause. This is just the initial surgery for retina reattachment surgery, and he has multiple surgeries scheduled. So it's going to be a while. A hard ride for him. Yeah. Certain states are doing tax cuts, temporary tax cuts on their gas. So why can't the United States government do that? Why can't the United States government do that? Why can't they do that to help the American people and benefit the American people during these troubling times that we're facing today? These troubling times that we're facing and we're experiencing on a daily basis. We are watching our country, the inflation rates go through the roof, our government not knowing how to respond. Gas prices or oil prices look like they're going down by the barrel, but they're really not. It's a false wave of dumping oil from reserves. And what are we going to do when those reserves, like the United States is now, I think we're down to 400 and something million barrels. Changes so often, you gotta. They took down the actual .gov website for the reserve. That's really great. Energy.gov doesn't even give an update on the reserve levels, like active reserve levels. That's really weird. Why would they take down that? That's really, really weird. So I guess there's no active way. There is no active way right now to see the reserve barrels in the reserve. Our current inventory services are not available right now. We are working to restore this as soon as possible. Please check back. That's what it says when you try to go to the website that has the reserve levels on it. So it is down. They have taken it down from public view. Why would they take it down from public view? Who does that help? Not helping me. It's not helping you. Thank you, Alex, for that $20 donation. Thank you, Alex, for that $20 donation. Every penny will be going to my brother tonight, and we will be donating it as soon as the show is over. If you guys don't donate directly to the GoFundMe for him, we will be putting it in there tonight from Real News Live to him. Thank you, Alex. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. 18 cents. And you pay triple the price for fuel in 2 years. It'll be a hard time. I don't know why they're hiding it or why it got taken offline. Teresa, I don't have an option of what he used. That's what he used. I would never use GoFundMe. I use DonorBox, but we're an actual charity. If he would have had me set it up, it would be on DonorBox. Certain things that public people just either that or use Facebook, and Facebook charges a lot more, so it's ridiculous. The transparency is gone. Transparency is gone. That this is the first time I tried to log into the oil reserve today, and when you can't even get to the site, literally, when it blocks you from seeing that information, that is a sign that something is wrong. We had military aircraft, of course, crash, or Chinese military aircraft crash in the South China Sea right off Taiwan. Of course, according to Taiwan intelligence reports, they crashed. They were not shot down. That'll be interesting to see what's coming from the days from that. If there was any foul play there, or China says it's foul play, we could easily be seeing the start of Taiwan getting hit amongst everything else that's happening. The House approved, of course, the ban on Russian oil yesterday. Which moves to the Senate. And as soon as it is signed in the Senate, it will be official and not just Biden saying it. And then we'll see the real impact, because right now we're seeing the faux impact. The impact from oil companies that have, of course, canceled orders that they had, but not the 108 million barrels that are on their way here. That hasn't affected us yet. The 108 million barrels that was already purchased from Russia, and it's on a ship that was purchased by BP and Shell, we're going to have to pay for that one way or another. It will not be able to be brought in the country once, of course, the Senate does sign it and the president signs it, because then no oil from Russia will be allowed within the port of the United States. Chernobyl is fine. There's no radiation leak. Once again, Zelensky is BSing people by trying to say there's a radiation leak. Yeah. Kevin, you are right. It became the ultimate cure. But the stuff going on with Chernobyl, there is no radiation leaks whatsoever. The MAFA have already said that. North Korea is testing extremely long range ICBMs. They've already tested ICBMs last year that could easily hit the U.S. These new ICBMs that, of course, are going out and they're testing, of course, are supposed to be almost double the range of those ICBMs that could hit the United States. So they would pretty much be able to hit anywhere in the world like any other country. There was an attack in a hospital in Mariupol. Not many people were injured. Once again, if a hospital is full of people and your injuries are extremely low and no deaths, then obviously there's a question about what's happened. Like this school that got shelled 11 hours ago. No injuries reported whatsoever, but they made it seem like a humanitarian issue in Kharkiv today, that this school got shelled. Yeah, emergency landings are quite normal. We're seeing a lot of just driving, killed. Ukraine destroyed I don't even know what to call that. This is the Coca-Cola factory in Ukraine that was damaged by shelling. Nobody was injured. Nobody's been there. I mean, this is what's happened today. I'm looking at going through it with you guys. There's airstrike, of course, on the city center in Miracle. Noting the size of the bomb crater. Well, this isn't bomb crater because this is all block. I'm pretty sure if anybody's lived on a brick road, you know brick roads are not very strong. And this is supposedly a bomb crater that they're showing in this image. How come all the bricks are still intact? Yes, I heard them too, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know where you are, Tobin, but this was supposedly a huge bomb that was dropped. A miracle. You see the huge crater? Because there's a crater I'm missing because app popped up. The crater's missing on my screen. I don't know where it went because this is actual brick. These are like pavers. How is there pavers that aren't destroyed if a bomb made a crater? Just a question. You have a crater in the ground that is paved with pavers. So what? Did they go and repave it real quick with pavers right after the bomb went off? I'm confused. I am very confused about this one. Once again, more confusing photos though coming out. There's no actual incident report though listing how many people were injured or what happened at the hospital at all today. There wasn't a lot of fighting. There was some air or some bombings. Of course, this is one of those institutes that the National Science Center and Kharkiv Institute of Physics and Technology that was bombed. Yep, Russia got them. Oh boy, what is Russia thinking? You fuel their aircraft? And once again, this massacre stuff has to stop. Total civilian losses is still under 1,300 people. I know that's not a small number, but that's total losses from both sides firing. Not one side, but both sides. Moldova. If you know people in Ukraine that are trying to get out, time to head towards Moldova, of course. Moldova is not looking at the restrictions of leaving, of course, letting everybody out, not just the women and children. Yeah, mainstream media is pushing propaganda. Yeah, I've seen videos of people actually walking around and it's nowhere near. Yeah, a bunch of biolabs were hit and incinerated, totally destroyed. Just like the technology center is listed. That address for that technology center is listed on one of the permits that are one of the sites that were supposedly issued at the same time, Department of Defense funded, all for biological research. That's all I'm going to say because it's not bioweapons labs, it's biological research. Once again, biological research. You can read into that any way you want. Yeah, propaganda on both sides. I'm not going to deny propaganda on Putin's side. But propaganda is propaganda. You got both sides playing for the same thing. It's bad. It is sad for loss of any civilian life. It is sad for even soldiers' lives to be lost. But this is a war, and war is not pretty. We should not be involved. By us putting weapons in hands of people there, and of course, giving more weapons to fight, it's causing more civilian casualties. And I know a lot of people say, well, then Russia would just take over. Russia's not going to stop until they take over there. Russia is not going to stop. We are going to see this continue. We're going to see the rhetoric continue until Russia eventually takes Ukraine. By providing them weapons and defenses and all this other stuff, we're edging this war to make it worse. We are providing weapons to make this worse. It'll not become better. It'll not become more friendly. More lives will be lost because of it. That became guerrilla warfare. It became something that this never would have became. They didn't have enough arms to arm every military officer with a gun at one point in Ukraine. And now they have enough guns to arm almost every civilian, providing them vehicles, weapons, munitions. 17,000, not a small amount, 17,000 Javelin missiles. We've only ever constructed 45,000, the U.S. We gave them 17,000 of our Javelin missiles. $3 million worth of Javelin missiles. $3 million. Of course, we can see missile explosions or damage being done to buildings, but do you think a Ukrainian officer would ever admit that he fired a missile and it hit a building? Or would he blame it on Russia? Or would we automatically see it blamed on the other team? If you're fighting in your own country and you do something and it hurts people in your country, are you going to take the blame, or are you going to point your finger at the other guy? No, say, he did it over there, Mom. This is like two brothers fighting. The finger's always going to get pointed the other way, no matter what happens. Oh, I don't see this ending well for anybody in the long run. I really don't. Wish I had better news, but the United States is going to suffer from this big time. We've already feeling the suffer coming as our currency, of course, is being sold and Chinese currency is being bought up. Look what's happening with the U.S. dollar versus the yen. It's sad. It's sad. The yen is slowly the yen. Let's put it this way: the yen was $6.57 to every one of our dollars, to now it's less than $6.30 to every one of our dollars. And as that number continues to go that same way, and course, China is now trying to convert to a gold-backed currency. And the amount of circulation of money that is trading hands from U.S. currency to Chinese currency is becoming drastic. Susan, that's not including the 90 million barrels they released yesterday or the 30 million barrels we released today to send to Ukraine. Susan, that is not including those numbers. That's been the number for a couple days prior to those releases being even announced. We don't know how much more oil they released today. They pulled it offline. Make sure that's clear. That 588 number was the number prior to these releases that we know for sure happened. So we know for sure 120 million barrels of oil was released from the reserve. 120 million barrels was released since that 588 number. High inflation's all Putin's fault. Then how come the high inflation started over a year ago? That's what my question is. How is that possible? How did the inflation start here long before Putin started this existence? How come last year we had a record inflation number as well? We're not even seeing the effects of the inflation. Really, we're not. I mean, we've seen a bump in gas prices over a couple-day period, but the really inflation numbers we haven't seen yet. What's going to happen with Russia? We're going to see a huge inflation increase from what's happening in Russia. That's not a question. We're not seeing it yet. We are not seeing it yet. It has not affected our market yet. Even the oil that's been bouncing around is not from Putin. That we have not even seen yet. And it is going to be crazy, and people are going to think they are going crazy at that point. Unfortunately. Poor leadership. You can't blame somebody else for your follies. You cannot blame somebody else for your follies. Sad, America's having to go down this path, and it will be a long path. I mean, imagine the fuel shortage of the 70s today. The gas lines and everything else, because that's coming. That is coming. Saudi Arabia said they will not increase production. They're looking at restricting production. They won't even talk to the United States government. Venezuela is talking about not exporting any of their oil until they can stabilize their economy. If Venezuela decides to stop exportation of the oil until they can stabilize their economy, it's over. If we don't get to drilling right away, within 6 months to a year, it'll take us before that oil is even ready to be used. That'll be drastic. People will be caught off guard, going to the grocery store one day to get food. Yeah, get books. There's a lot of great books out there. I know Susie has a couple that she mentioned out there. That pipeline only produces 600 600,000 barrels a day. That is a very small percentage of the oil we use in America. Yes, opening that pipeline will help, but there's months left to finish that pipeline. Months. Months left to finish that pipeline, and it's only 600,000 barrels a day. We use almost 20 million barrels a day in the U.S. of oil, of raw crude. And that's not including natural gas. That's after natural gas is already pulled from it. But I'm going to sign off here, you guys. I know I haven't been. Just a long, disastrous night. Thank you, Christina, for that $25 donation, and thank you, Alex, for that $20 donation tonight. The Senate has passed that bill, as you guys just seen. Senate did just pass that. So that $1.5 trillion for this month's spending bill, until they have to extend it next month again, has officially passed. So, survival book is definitely a thing. The best thing you can get, though, if you're not going to get a survival book, at least get a wild edibles book. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of stuff you can eat out there, and there's a lot of stuff you can't eat that looks like you can. So a lot of people get confused. Wild edibles for your location are going to be the most important thing if something drastic happens. Well, $1 billion to Ukraine. Ridiculousness. Just utter ridiculousness. We definitely appreciate you guys, though. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully we get some good news. God bless you all. God bless America. Hopefully we can get back on track. Hopefully we can get back on track and become America again. I mean, I'm not asking for much. I'm asking to be America again. Thank you guys for your donations tonight, Tia and Alex. We definitely appreciate you. Good night. God bless you.